Hi everyone, my name is Jia Zixing and you can call me Zixing. Today, I'm going to present my assignment about an analysis of ethical issue in Apple Incorporated. My presentation will focus on Apple's supply chains, worker condition, ethical trial, different business factors, recommendation, and conclusion. I will explain how this ethical issue can affect Apple and why Apple need to manage them properly. So now I will start to talk about introduction of Apple. Apple is a famous technology company in the world. It was founded in 1976 and is based in California. Apple sells many products such as the iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and AirPod. It also provides services such as iCloud and Apple Music. Apple has supply in many countries. Many of these products are made and put together by other companies. Because Apple has such a large supply chain, it may face some ethical problems. For example, Apple needs to make sure that workers in supply factories are treated well. Therefore, this presentation mainly focuses on Apple's ethical issue, especially worker conditions and supply chain practice. Now, I will talk about main ethical issue of Apple. The main ethical issue in Apple's supply chain is worker condition. Some workers may face long working hours, high work pressure, and short rest time. This can make workers very tired, especially during busy production periods. Foxconn is one of Apple's major suppliers. Apple checks its supplier, but it does not directly control all the factories. Because of this, it may be difficult for Apple to know everything about the real working condition. This is an important ethical issue because workers should have a safe and fair working environment. Apple should also make sure that workers are not treated badly just because the company wants to reduce costs or products faster. Therefore, Apple still has a possibility to work out in its supply chains. Next, I will talk about ethical theory and corporate social responsibility, the shortcut called CSR. Stakeholder theory means that a company should care about different groups, not only the owners. For Apple, important stakeholders include workers, customers, suppliers, and shareholders. Apple should consider the need and right of this group. For example, Apple should protect workers and provide fair working conditions. CSR means that a company should do business in a responsible way. For Apple, this means respecting worker rights, providing safe working conditions, and treating working fairly. Apple should also be honest and clear about its supplier and working conditions. This can help Apple build trust with its shareholders. Next, I will talk about the political factor. Governments are paying more attention to worker rights and human rights. Because of this, Apple may face trade rules about working conditions and supplies management. Government may also ask companies to provide more information and check their supplies more often. Apple's suppliers also need to follow the law in their own countries. If Apple or its supplier does not follow the law, they may face fine or other legal problems. Worker rights groups can also put pressure on Apple to improve working conditions. Therefore, Apple needs strong rules and regular checks. This can help Apple reduce legal problems and also improve its ethical practice. Now, I will discuss the economy factors. Ethical problem can affect Apple's business. For example, bad news about poor working condition can damage Apple's reputation. Customers may lose trust in Apple. Some customers may also choose other brands. Apple also needs to spend money on supplier check and better working conditions. This can increase business costs. However, good ethical practice can help Apple customer trust. A good reputation can also help Apple maintain its customer and support its business in the long term. Therefore, ethical practices are not only about doing the right thing, they can also be important for Apple's business success. The next factor is social factors. Today, many customers care about how companies treat their workers. They do not only care about price and product quality, they also want to know whether products are made in a fair and responsible way. If people heard about poor working conditions, they may have a negative view of Apple. Social media can make this problem bigger because negative news can spread very quickly. This can reduce customer trust and loyalty. Public criticism can also affect Apple's reputation. Therefore, Apple needs to understand what customer and society expect. Treating workers fairly can help Apple build a better image and strong customer trust. The next issue is environmental responsibility. Apple has a large global supply chain, so its production and transportation can affect the environment. One main problem is electric waste, also called e-waste. When people replace old phones, computers, and other devices, more electronic waste is produced. Other problem is carbon emissions from making and moving products. Apple already has recycling and clean energy program. However, it is still room for improvement. Apple should continue to reduce waste and carbon emissions. It should also encourage its suppliers to follow better environmental practice. This is important because companies also have a responsibility to protect the environment. Now, I will talk about my four main recommendations for Apple. I have four main recommendations. First, Apple should check its supply factories more often. Regular check can help Apple find problems such as long working hours and poor working hours conditions. Second, Apple should use suppliers in different locations. This can reduce supply chains risk and reduce dependence on a small number of suppliers. Third, Apple should give clear information about its suppliers and working conditions. This can improve transparency and help customers understand Apple's actions. Fourth, Apple should improve working safety and working conditions. Apple can work with suppliers to provide better support and a safer workplace. These recommendations can help Apple improve its ethical practice and build more trust with its shareholders. Finally, I will give my conclusion. In conclusion, Apple faced survival ethical issue because of its large global supply chains. The main issue is worker conditions such as long worker hours, high work pressure, and workers' rights. Other important issues include CSR, transparency, legal responsibility, and environmental protection. This problem can affect Apple's reputation, customer, worker, and other stakeholders. Therefore, Apple should improve its supplier check and protect workers. Apple should also provide clear information and continue to improve its environmental practice. By doing this, Apple can build trust, protect its reputation and support its long-term business success. This one is the ethical business practices are very important for Apple. This is my reference, and thank you for listening and watching. Goodbye, everyone. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.